We often recapitulate our childhood. We want to go back to that very special sphere of our life. This is a kind of escapism that lurks in our mind, and we rear it with utmost care. We often want to go back to our childhood, where we do not have any kind of pressure, any kind of responsibilities, and the circumstances are far better than the present world. But can we really go back to that very period of time? Past is fleeting, past is abstract, we cannot touch it, we can only feel it from the core of our heart. Returning to the past life is a kind of fancy or utopian idea. So, often we feel nostalgic about our past because it is something that we cannot get back, just like a dead person who never returns. Future, past and present. These are the three dimensions of our life, major dimensions. We prepare for future, we plan for future, and tomorrow it will be our past. So, here in this poem, what we have found, our poet, Sir Robert Frost, is in such situation. The present day situation has totally spoiled his peace of mind. He wants to go back to those beautiful days of childhood where there is no pain, where there is no suffering, where there is no complexities, and where there is no what you call lake pulling, but in better word we should call it race. There is no race. The only thing is that to live a life. In this poem we have the various aspects of life as well as different themes. We have the theme of childhood, we have got the theme of rustic life, that is very important. As we saw, the poet wanted to do what? Wanted to revive, wanted to get back his previous life. He thinks that a child who has broken all the top trees, who has totally bent all the birches as his play, not because he is taking revenge, but it is not that he has destroyed the tree. He bent them to the ground, almost to the ground, but not exactly flat to the ground. It is bent to the last portion of the surface, as if like an artist has done his artwork. Further, he climbs the tree with an ease, but it is really a very tough job to do. He needs to climb the tree properly, he needs to throw his legs outside so that he can take the top to the down, just like filling up a cup or a container to the fullest, which is not at all easy. So, at this particular point, the major discussion should be based on the themes as well as the romanticism lies in it and the nostalgic ideas. In this video, we are not discussing those lines which are mentioned, or we are not further reading those lines, but we are discussing something very important. Thing number one, the poet knows very well the trees are bent due to the weight of the snow, but somehow he wants to escape the reality. He wants to avoid that fact that trees are bent by the snow. He wants to believe, he wants to make himself believe that trees are bent due to a truant, a naughty fellow. While returning home, one boy has bent all the trees. So he wants to escape the reality from the beginning of the poem. He knew each of the facts, that the snow falls and due to the weight what happens? The branches bent. But that is not a satisfactory reason to the poet. As I told you in the last video, during the live class, that since our childhood we had a belief that everything in this world does have a life. When you were a child, you used to believe even the bus, car or the trucks do have lives, so they are running. But later on we are taught that these are non-living objects. We are too fool to believe like that, but it was better to believe like that. The poet wants to believe in that way. So, the reality has made us educated, wise, but has taken all the emotion, sentiment and the attachment to the nature. So, we are gaining something, but we are missing something more than that. Our infatuation, our love, our affection and our connectivity with the nature, to the nature, all things are getting spoiled with the enhancing quality of education and study. As we study further, we come to know more and more about reality and forget all these nostalgic facts. But here the poet wants to stick to his idea that the birches are bent by a truant, a boy. It is not our duty whether the poet is correct or not, but it is our obviously a duty to understand the fact that he is in the trap. He is in the trap of reality and he wants to escape, just like a wild animal wants to escape the trap of the hunter. The world is hunting the poet. The world is hunting many of us. But what? He is a poet, so obviously he possesses a romantic mind, and what he wants to go back to his childhood, living all these complexities of the world. He has given a perfect description how the birches are broken. Plenty of imageries we have, just like visual, just like we have kinesthetic. Here we don't have olfactory or gustatory, auditory may be there, we have to search further. So, very nicely describe all these factors, each and every line with perfect use of simile, metaphor, alliteration. And once more we know the poem does not have a paragraph or a stanza. This is not divided into several stanza, but it is a single stanza poem. It is a stichic poem, as I told you before, stichic, S-T-I-C-H-I-C, stichic poem. So, till now what we have seen in this poem, that is quite satisfactory, and this is the expression of everyone who are living in the modern day world. Everyone wants to escape the reality and wants to live a life full of peace, tranquility and serenity. So, the poet is not a wrongdoer in believing that the birches are broken by a child, because when he was a child, he was young, he used to do the same. So, it is not a wrong thing, it is not something wrong on part of the poet to believe like that. So, in the further live classes, what we will do, we will complete the poem, but I want that you should understand the poem to the fullest. There should not be any doubt, and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me anytime. So, here we conclude this video.